Hello and welcome to PocketGamer.biz's weekly digest. This is for the week ending the 23rd of January 2015. So kind of a bit of a themed kind of digest this week really. It's kind of hanging off kind of some news and some kind of articles we've been running. I mean the news kind of hook that was kind of seemed most interesting was Millennial Media, which is one of the big kind of mobile advertising networks, released its kind of report for Q4 2014. So basically just looking really at trends in the kind of how apps are being monetized and different how kind of games and apps, how that kind of is being differentiated. And the headline figure is now about a third of all games are using video ads to monetize, and that's up pretty significantly on the previous year. I mean, in general, we're kind of seeing more games using various forms of advertising to monetize. Partly that's because there's much better monetization solutions available from advertising, so we're seeing a move from banner ads to interstitials and native advertising. And the big kind of trend is for video advertising, partly because it's a better user experience. That means that advertisers will pay more because there's a better kind of engagement with the user, and obviously if they're paying more, that means developers are more likely to integrate those solutions because they're getting paid more. To generate any money off a banner ad, you need almost literally billions of impressions to get any money. So the 35% is interesting, and since it's increasing, it's still, I mean, obviously a third using video ads means 2/3 aren't, so there's still kind of a lot of headroom to go. And the kind of the context of this was Crossroad, the kind of Frogger type game from Australian developer Hipster Whale. They announced last week that they have generated $1 million from just using Unity's video advertising system. It's actually an incentivized video advertising system, which is kind of tend to be what a lot of the video systems are. So if you get the option within the game at a certain point, it says, do you want to watch a video? And if you do that, we'll give you something. Typically it's some soft currency. So within Crossroad, if you watch a video, you can get 100 kind of their kind of internal gold. The reason that's useful is you can use that to kind of buy in-game characters. You can't buy them directly. That's another kind of nice thing. But basically you get, with 100 gold, you get one kind of turn of the one-armed bandit of characters, so to speak. There's 69 characters in total. If you want to buy them, you can buy them. There's 99 cents. I think you can very quickly start kind of at least having a chance to win them. Obviously it's random, so you end up kind of winning the ones that you've already got. So that's kind of interesting that you start to get a bit frustrated because you're not winning the ones you want all the time, and then that drives you maybe to spend. If you really want the penguin or you want the tabby cat or whatever the various options are, you can spend some money. So I guess that's the example is that's a kind of a good game in terms of showing it's got very light monetization, really just buying characters, and the kind of incentivized videos is really kind of like supercharging that. It's kind of providing the gamer to get an understanding of how the kind of monetization model works, giving them actually a bunch of stuff for free, but if they really want to, they can buy some kind of really reduce the uncertainty of the one-armed bandit system and actually buy the characters they want. Now, interestingly, that you would kind of think this wouldn't really generate a lot of money. You kind of think it's quite an indie game, but it's actually now well within the American top 100 top grossing chart. It's kind of almost at certain points almost entered the top 50. Obviously, the main money is to be made in the top 10, top 20. So we're not saying Crossroad is generating millions of dollars every day from in-app purchases, but considering it's a three-man team, indie team, not really heard of before, it's kind of a good exemplar of how video advertising is kind of, I think, opening up a bit more revenue streams for some of the smaller developers. On another sense, kind of the reason video is also important, but in a different way, not for monetization. So we also had an interview with Phil Hickey from the Finnish developer Seriously, and they've been doing a lot of work for their game Best Fiends, and they've been working with a lot of the YouTube guys. So they've been working with people like PewDiePie and some of his kind of mates. So they've done some, I guess, what we might call kind of traditional kind of user acquisition through those channels. So they won't say how much money they've spent, but they did spend some money getting a kind of what we might call a more kind of sponsored kind of feature in some of those channels. The interesting thing is that those kind of YouTubers, they won't advertise the game unless they like it. So I think it's kind of quite an immature market at the moment, but it's maturing kind of quickly. But at the moment you can still generate quite a lot of downloads. So they reckon they generated maybe 30 to 50,000 downloads over a weekend when their game launched, and it was a much cheaper kind of option than doing the traditional user acquisition. And then they followed that up with I guess it kind of shows how kind of creative you have to be, even if you have the money. So they did a deal where with 4 of these or 5 of these YouTuber guys, and they basically said, we're going to give you 25 grand to kind of donate to the charities of your choice, and depending on how well you do in our game, the person who does the best in the game in a fixed period of time, it's a week, gets to give the most kind of money to charity, and then the second, third, and fourth place get a small amount. And that was kind of interesting because it wasn't really. I mean, it was a kind of an in between, kind of pure user acquisition, but more like a kind of like an influencing type thing. And maybe that's where the YouTube kind of situation is going to go, where it's more about kind of influencing. You're not driving it in a direct kind of performance advertising manner where you would do, say, on Facebook advertising or Twitter advertising. And I guess as a kind of a bookend to that, we kind of are seeing the first signs really of mobile games gaining some traction on Twitch. So Twitch clearly is designed for PC games. The most watched game in terms of kind of people playing it and people watching those channels is League of Legends by a long shot. I mean, it's a kind of a bit of a kind of the number one spot kind of is a winner takes all situation. So it's taking the lion's share, but there's been a kind of marketing company who's been looking at how kind of the games that have been getting kind of millions of minutes of kind of watching in Twitch, and I mean, it's a bit of a kind of hybrid. So Hearthstone is getting, I think it's the number 3rd rated game in Q4 2014, but clearly most of that is being generated by all of it is being generated by its PC version, not the iPad version. So the first kind of pure play mobile game is Clash of Clans, which is not particularly a game you think would be generating a lot of people kind of watching the mad tactics of Clash of Clans, because really the tactics are not very sophisticated. But that was the 43rd most watched game on Twitch. Clearly, we're going to see kind of mobile games kind of rising up that kind of leaderboard, and it is. I mean, partly it's difficult because the developers have to do a proper integration of their SDK. So Gameloft have been very keen on doing that. They Asphalt 8 launched, and a lot of their games have that Twitch integration. So I think we'll kind of see that all moving together. So video in lots of forms for monetization, for discovery, and for engagement is clearly becoming much more important to the mobile companies. But I guess the reason that it's interesting is that you can't use the same methods that you've been using for kind of normal advertising. It's a kind of more subtle and more kind of slippery kind of audience to engage with. But that's, I think, where the big advantages will lie for the people who can work out how to kind of find those massive audiences and engage them with their games.